Andrade is stealing the show every week.
He's taking
And
it
I love
2 weeks in a row. The MVPs of wrestling are the Mexicans because they chose to work. They chose to work at the hardest time. Work ethic, work ethic, work.
The following announcement has been paid for by the Put Me Over podcast.
The Last Stand.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Put Me Over podcast, episode 102. I am your host, Andrew Gomez, a.k.a. The Mez, joined today by my lovely, wonderful, beautiful co-host to my left. He is the Pinoy powerhouse, the most handsomest man alive, Byron Pagdalao.
What's up, guys? If you can't see, I was sticking my tongue out the whole time, but yeah.
Also joined us, round out the crew, we have the 10th wonder of the world, the puncher of balls himself, ticklish himself, Richard Garcia.
What's going on, everyone? How's it going?
Oh, man, it's been rough. Quarantine has not been, it's not been fun, especially when it comes to wrestling. Like, I just have no will to watch. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't watched anything this week. I watched a little bit of Raw, and that was about it.
Oh, yeah. It makes it tougher because you can tell they feel it, too. It's like, and everyone's on the quarantine hangover, but it's not even a hangover because it's still going on. So it's like the party that's lasting way too damn long, you know?
I feel like they're just running in place right now, just kind of stalling, waiting for this to blow over till they can start maybe putting out regular storylines again.
Yeah, and we all can't wait. And we miss the crowd as much as, like, Smart Marks annoy the shit out of all of us, especially myself, too. Like, I miss the universes, and, you know, they kind of help us gauge on what's going on because they're there firsthand. So,
yeah. The crowd definitely adds an element to wrestling that I didn't know that it needed. I thought, we could just watch guys wrestle. That's fine. But, you know, in front of nobody, it looks really awkward, especially because these guys are all taught to, like, work towards the cameras and, like, pose for the audience. And they're still doing it, but there's no audience there. So it just looks really weird.
Right. You can't tell what actually works, what, you know, heat works. So I guess.
Yeah. How you doing in all this, Dickie boy?
Hanging in there, just taking it day by day.
Are y'all tired of cooking yet? I'm fucking so tired of cooking, man. Cooking and dishes is like the number one most annoying thing in my life ever.
I've actually been losing weight not eating out. So
that's good.
Like 10 pounds already.
Damn, that's a
Good for
great.
you.
Yeah, we got an elliptical now too in the house. So been using that, you know, just trying to not gain more weight and try to actually lose. I want to lose like 50.
That's possible, especially how long this shit's gonna be.
Been eating
There you go.
chicken and fruits and veggies, and yeah, it's fun. It's not fun, but you know, I'll have a cheat meal here and there. Today actually is the day that I'm gonna go to. We're gonna go to Philippe's in downtown.
They open for takeout?
Yeah, they're open for takeout.
Yo, when I used to eat meat back in the day, I remember I went there. It's literally just the bread, the meat, and I think it was a pickle from when
That's all I want, dude.
Great sandwich.
You got to get it double dipped. I don't know if people that are listening that haven't been to Philippe's, you come to LA, you go to Philippe's because that's the place you got to go. If you like a good roast beef sandwich, they have lamb sandwiches. It's so good. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Damn, the line's probably out of control too.
I know. I don't know if I have to order in advance or not, but we'll see. I don't know. I drank a lot of White Claws last night, so that was my Friday night. Saving a lot of money, not going out as much, which is nice.
A $30 bar tab is like a big ass bottle of alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, I started doing a Instagram live weekly show. Catch me on my Instagram at itsme8k, where I just make a sandwich and we talk, and it's fun.
That's awesome, man.
So first week we did just a straight up ham and cheese sandwich, nothing special.
Stick to the basics, you know.
Second episode we made a grilled peanut butter and jelly.
Grilled. You grill it after you put it together, obviously, right?
Yeah, just like a grilled cheese sandwich, but with peanut butter and jelly on the inside. And then people that were watching wanted to see another sandwich, so I busted out some bananas and bacon, and we made an Elvis Presley grilled sandwich.
That's the best kind, dude.
Peanut butter, banana, and bacon. It was really good. That's kind of a cheat meal, but you know, I don't eat all of it. Well, that one I ate all of it. So,
what kind of peanut butter? Crunchy or smooth?
I went smooth on the peanut butter. Crunchy, I want to experiment with the crunchy eventually at some point. But every Tuesday at 8:00, I am on my Instagram live making a sandwich.
Tune in, guys. Sandwiches are always a good thing.
The show is called A Sandy with Andy.
There you go.
Or if I do change the name, I want it to be like a Sandrew with Andrew. I don't know, something that rhymes, but whatever. All right, so we got to get into the show, guys. But before we do that, we got to give it up to our sponsors. We got to give it up to our friends at lapelyeah.com. If you're for the market for some wrestling merchandise, look no further. Go to lapelyeah.com. Use our promo code PUTMEOVER, and in turn, that website will put you over, and you get 20% off your entire order. Also, go make sure you check out our friends at Grudge Match Brand Apparel on Instagram. Tournament notifications are currently running a coronavirus sale. So definitely go check out their web store. They just dropped that bad booking T-shirt. That Bret Hart Excellence is my execution shirt. So definitely go check out both of those hot new designs, and then go check out all their old designs too, because they're also fire as well. You like the Circle Jerks and Roddy Piper? Well, they have a shirt just for you. So make sure you go check them out. Also, go make sure you check out our web store. New designs are on their way. But until then, you can look at all our old stuff. PutMeOver.com for all of your Put Me Over merchandise wants and needs. We got hats, we got stickers, we have koozies, we have cell phone cases, we have little tote bags. So when you go to the store, you can put your groceries in a Put Me Over bag. Really appreciate it. Really puts the show over, and you'll put yourself over in public. So definitely go check that out. Use a promo code Kofi4Ever. That's Kofi, the number 4 and ever, for 20% off your entire order. Act now. Supplies are limited. Ooh, I like Byron. We're in a Zoom call right now. We can just change our backgrounds whenever we can. And Byron just posted a classic picture of Rodman in the NWO. Have you guys been watching the what's it called?
The Last Dance.
The Last
Dance.
Yeah, it's so damn.
Yes.
Ooh,
So damn.
man, it is
Riveting.
ESPN outdid themselves with this documentary. I caught up as of Tuesday, and wow. Even if you're not a basketball fan or a Bulls fan, it is worth watching. It's worth checking out.
It just reminds me of the 90s so much, and like how I was into basketball like pretty bad when I was in the 90s. So like especially like 90, I want to say like 96. That's when like everything was basketball for me for a while. So to see this all replay again, I want to see if they talk about Rodman going and fighting in WCW during the finals.
I hope.
We have to.
They didn't mention it on the Rodman segment, which was what episode 3. They didn't mention anything about his WCW stint, but it is 10 episodes long, so maybe they will have mentioned it down the road, because during part of that Last Dance, Karl Malone was a big factor as far as the Bulls' path to winning the championship. So they have to talk about how they were connected on the court and off the court, especially with WCW.
Yeah. The fact that Rodman, walked out of practice to go shoot Monday Nitro, and fucking Phil Jackson was pissed off at him, that has to be talked about on the show.
Man, he's the man. What a motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. He went to Vegas for 48 hours, came back, and he had to get dragged out of his apartment by Jordan because he
said he needed a break, and Jordan was like,
break.
"Motherfucker, I need a break."
Carrying your ass.
I'm Michael Jordan, man.
Hey, what do you guys think this is the hardest question? I know my answer, but there's not really one. But who's the Michael Jordan? Like, now that you see behind the scenes of like his quest to be the best, who's the Michael Jordan of wrestling? It's really hard, huh?
That's hard. Because there's two people obviously that make a match.
Right.
So like narrow it down to like one person, I would say Austin.
Oh, that's a good one, because he was pretty cutthroat too.
Yeah, and like he put the company on his back. He did it all kind of like there was players around him, obviously in the Attitude Era, but the focal point was Austin. So I would go Austin. He saved the company single-handedly.
That's true, because there were pioneers, but he took it to the next level.
Yeah,
that's a good call. That's a good call. Austin's a really good call.
What about you?
I don't know, because the thing with Jordan was he is a once-in-a-lifetime player, and the way he revolutionized the game, the way he revolutionized not only just the game, but also with endorsements, and he became like a brand icon. It's really tough to say with professional wrestling who would be the equivalent. And then on top of that, as you guys mentioned, wrestling is a two-man dance. You need to have a partner who can be to lead the dance, to lead the matches as well. So it's kind of hard to say who it is in particular who might have like the skill set that would be considered like one of the best of all time. I don't know. I mean, I can't really. It's hard to narrow it down. I don't think I can give you guys. It's really hard. I don't know. I mean, in terms of skills, probably. I mean, you could look at maybe like a Ric Flair. Like, I mean, I would say maybe Flair in the '80s, just because how he was in the ring, how he would carry people from like your Ronnie Garvins to your Ricky Steamboat. Even though Ricky Steamboat was great in his own right, to Sting to Lex Luger, he made those guys better around him. And this Flair, like the way that he established himself as like, you know, this over-the-top personality, this larger-than-life figure.
Flair's actually a really good answer too.
Yeah, Flair's really good. Skill-wise, yeah, you're right. And branding, no one brands better than fucking Ric Flair.
Dude, 30 years later, people are still quoting him, you know?
He's the ultimate brand.
Hip-hop artists are influenced by Ric Flair.
Yeah.
That's
the Ric Flair grip.
Yep.
What about you, Byron? Who do you feel?
Ric Flair's pretty damn good. But like to make it global, Austin is pretty good. Austin is a good pick. But just to be different, I would say Hulk Hogan, just because he's, you know,
I knew it.
It's gotta be Hulkster, baby. This guy right here, my man. He made it mainstream. His Space Jam was no holds barred. Not quite as good as Space Jam, but yeah, I would say Hogan just for his huge like notoriety and his main pop culture, you know, just his effect in the world, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
and then I'll go ahead.
I mean, Hulk Hogan was everyone knows who Hulk Hogan is.
Yeah.
Whether you watch wrestling or not, and I feel like that for Michael Jordan, people that didn't watch basketball knew who Michael Jordan was.
Right.
You know?
Right.
As a brand name, I would agree with you. Also, another thing to consider is how many people were influenced by Jordan's game. I mean, you look at the most prominent example being Kobe Bryant. I mean, Kobe Bryant shaped his game to be just like Michael Jordan.
Right.
Ric Flair, a lot of guys influenced how they wrestled by Flair. Triple H in particular. You look at Shawn Michaels.
Actually, Shawn Michaels could be a good choice too, because everybody now, all the mid-level size guys now are all descendants of Shawn.
Everyone in NXT is influenced by Shawn.
It's Shawn Michaels Federation, pretty much.
Yeah. I'm influenced by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah. See, everybody.
Well, with that being said, we got some news to talk about. So, without further ado, let's get into the news. Let's get into some Dick's dirty news. Take it away, Dick.
Got some things to talk about, guys. You know, other than the Last Dance, this upcoming Monday, I should say, Florida is going to be opened up little by little. Governor DeSantis did issue a statement guiding some type of outline as far as how they're going to open up. It appears that restaurants and open spaces are going to be operating at a 25% capacity. So what does this mean with wrestling? Well, it's rumored that, we know already that WWE is already filming shows in Florida, and it appears AEW is going to follow suit. They did have a very large collection of tapings that was going to last well into Double or Nothing. So they're going to go ahead and start filming again at Daly's Pace in May. So as far as this goes, and also not to mention UFC as well, because UFC is going to also be filming in Florida, could this lead the way with having a live attendance in Florida as early as June, perhaps? And maybe that's something that not only that the governor wants to have, but also maybe with WWE and UFC getting some sort of live attendance in there, because let's face it, watching these shows, especially the WWE shows, without fans is definitely different.
I don't know. I feel like we're not there yet. I feel like we still need a little bit more time to make sure that, you know, we have this virus in check. It's only going to take another outbreak for us to be back to square one again, and even tighter restrictions. I say let's not rush it. I mean, if they want to run shows, go back to the roots. Go do like some American Legion halls or like some basketball gyms or some shit like that. I mean, that's a way to keep a small amount of people, have a crowd, but have it be in a small building.
It's gonna be, I don't know, because like even if you do it in a small building, everyone's gonna be crammed in, and how you gonna and how you gonna enforce social distancing rules? Like 6 feet apart in a Legion Hall is gonna be very difficult. I mean, it might be easier doing it in a bigger arena, like a fit maybe like 1,200, 1,500, 10,000 people perhaps.
Well, especially if
Usually
something,
you can,
something big happens, what's your first instinct? You want to high five and hug and like, you know, be around people, react. I don't need to be able to do that really. Well, you could, but you might get sick. Ugh.
Yeah, that's
it's
that's
gonna be
I remember when we went to WrestleMania, Dick, when Seth Rollins made his cash and me and you were hugging each other. We almost made out, but we helped a little bit. But we were going ape shit. I was running up and down the stairs. It was crazy.
damn, man. That's crazy. Those days are
it's
gone.
gonna be it's gonna be different, especially if this is like phase one of sports coming back to America. Because right now this is the guinea pig. MMA and WWE, we're the guinea pigs to see whether or not if sports can even thrive, let alone function in a COVID America society. So let's see how this goes, and then if it does work out, then you could see perhaps baseball, basketball, maybe coming to Florida or even other states, and then with a limited capacity. But like you mentioned, Drew, like the whole idea of sports, like it's whenever fans cheer, like whenever there's a goal scored or touchdown, fans would high five, hug. I mean, it's going to be a lot different now. I mean, definitely, it's going to be real interesting going forward if that's going to be the case.
What are they going to do with kiss cams?
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's crazy. Yeah, the whole environment's changed. But I'm like the governor of Texas said, he was like, you guys go to the grocery store, right? So as long as you do, so you're still kind of exposed to all that as long as you're practicing safety measures. I think it's okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But who knows? This shit's so unpredictable. Hopefully we get a grasp on it and like have some sort of remedy soon, I guess. But
All I know is I don't want to be in like close proximity. At least when I go to the grocery store, everyone like maintains their distance and like no one's like. But I don't want to be surrounded by people that are like leading these protests that are saying this is all a hoax and like this is all because of 5G for some reason.
right.
I don't know, man. I don't want to be around those people because those people haven't been safe at all.
No, absolutely not. But people, they're going to believe whatever they want to believe, regardless of the facts that are surrounded by them.
And those guys who are protesting. I'm pretty sure a good amount of them are wrestling fans. So yeah.
All right. What else we got, Dick?
So we'll see how that goes with Florida. Florida is going to be the guinea pig coming up. WWE did announce more releases this past week. It's actually not as much as Black Wednesday a couple weeks ago. The most prominent names, the most prominent name being Cain Velasquez being released. He wasn't even there for a whole year.
Dude.
He
made Saudi money. Did the job to Brock Lesnar and said, "All right, I'm out."
That's essentially it right there.
They paid him way too much money in the beginning,
right?
Obvious. And then they're like, "Oh shit, we can't afford this contract anymore. We got to get rid of this guy." But for him to just come back for, one match, not come back, but come in for one match, didn't really speak. His promos were really, really bad. There was no seasoning on the guy. I don't know. It's a big name to lose, but
he clearly wasn't ready. He clearly wasn't ready for WWE.
He's more of an NJPW guy. Like he does
like a mask.
Right. He's not a WWE like your prototypical WWE star. He didn't have a lot of charisma, and his body was not WWE body.
Weird body, man.
Or heavyweight, especially. You're supposed to be bruising. Yeah, it just wasn't a fit, I guess.
You're absolutely right about his body not being cosmetically suited for WWE. You're absolutely right about that. But he did wrestle in AAA for a little bit, and from what I saw, it seemed like he was doing all right. But of course, the AAA style of wrestling is going to be a lot different from the WWE style.
Absolutely.
What do you think the odds are that Vince looked at his body and was like, "All right, this isn't gonna last long"?
I'd say about
Vince is probably.
pretty
Go
high.
ahead, Brian.
I think it's pretty high. That's part of the case. And then when you hear him go on the mic, it's like, fuck this shit.
Abort, 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 abort. But I mean, yeah, sucks. I mean, I was shocked to hear that Gerald Briscoe got furloughed in quotation marks. He's been with the company. I feel like they're letting go of people that have been loyal to the company for so long. It's kind of upsetting to me.
Right. And yeah, you're right. And Briscoe's been like there for a long time, since the 80s. And he was a very prominent part of really of Vince trying to expand nationwide. Him and his brother, Jack, they were shareholders for Championship Wrestling in Georgia. And when they sold their stakes to Vince, that's how Vince got on TBS for a little bit. And the Black Saturday segment with WWE, where the ratings just tanked, forced Vince to sell it back to the shareholders for Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Abort.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. But he was there in the 80s, obviously in the 90s. A lot of us remember him more famously as being one of the Stooges with him and Patterson, when Vince McMahon was starting to create the Mr. McMahon character.
Yes, sir, Mr. McMahon.
Yeah.
Plastic.
Classic.
I mean, he was there. I mean, he did everything.
He was a goon.
Man. And then the Axeman got the axe. They botched him from the beginning, though. I feel bad for Curtis Axel.
They did.
Joe Henney. It's right there. It's Mr. Perfect Son.
Right.
Make Mr. Perfect Part 2. I mean, it's right there. But they chose to go a different route, I guess.
The thing with being the son of a famous wrestler is that you got to live in the shadow of that person. And for Joe Henning, it was going to be tough. I mean, they gave him so many characters to give him. I mean, was it Michael McGillicuddy?
That's what he came
first.
Which, I mean, why that name? That's not. That's
I don't know.
Low mid card to me.
Yeah.
It was a bad name. It was a bad idea.
And they put
I mean, I understand why they did that, because they wanted to differentiate him from his father and have his own legacy. But the Michael McGillicuddy name was just doomed from the beginning.
Yeah, and then they put him with Paul Heyman. They changed his name to Curtis Axel, which is like a repackage of his dad and his granddad. And that didn't go anywhere. He was IC champ for a little bit, and again, that didn't go anywhere. And now here he is finding himself without a job. They haven't done anything with him in so long. He had the B team for a little while.
Yeah, we were on. I was high on that.
But you could only do so much with what they were, with how they were portraying them.
Yeah, they were just.
They were only going to be a job comedy duo for so long, and then it's going to run its course.
But he can wrestle. He's actually really proficient in the ring, and I'm excited to see go to Japan. I would say I could see him going to Japan and like re-emerging. I think Vince probably looked at him and was like, "What's that scar in your belly?" It's my appendix, sir. I had it removed.
Oh, C-section.
God damn it! Who hired this guy?
Oh, that's
what doesn't help is that he's in his 40s.
Oh, is he?
That's going to be he's 40. Yeah. Oh. So it's going to be tough for him to find. I mean, let alone it's going to be tough to find work right now, given we're in the middle of a pandemic. But as a guy in your 40s, it's even if we're not dealing with a pandemic, it's going to be tough for him to find work after that. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I've already seen Cody Rhodes already shoot down the idea of bringing in Heath Slater to AEW. So that's interesting. Someone asked him on Twitter if AEW would hire Heath Slater, and he just replied, "Nope."
And I don't know if that's an angle or if he's 100% serious, but I think with AEW they should really be careful with trying to hire a lot of WWE talent, especially the ones that were recently released.
Yeah,
because it would look in the eyes of many as TNA light, where a lot of where back in the day TNA would hire a lot of former WWE talent.
Yeah, And they're doing so good with the guys that they do have already. They have, guys like Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy. Then you have MJF. You have guys that you've built on your own. No need to bring in a bunch of WWE people because they're, names, quote unquote. But there are guys from WWE that I would probably take a look at. The Revival, I think, would be a great addition to AEW.
I'm glad you mentioned the Revival, by the way, because
I set it up just for you.
Yeah, the perfect timing. In the latest episode of Being the Elite, it was heavily teased that the Revival, now known as the Revolt, they're signed to AEW. Now, as far as the actual contract goes, we don't know, but it appears it might be where like they can actually work other dates as well, which is perfect for them because those guys are also suited for NWA. If they if they sign NWA as well, I could see them as like, being the cornerstone of that tag team division as well, and actually of that brand because they scream old school. They scream NWA.
That's what
I will watch an NWA again for sure. I stopped. I don't know. It's just too much wrestling, but I would start watching again if they were there.
It is.
Is it still going on? NWA?
Yeah, but I think they're like mini episodes now. I don't think they're like full on productions.
I see. It would seem like a mini episode anyway, but like even when it's at full capacity. But yeah.
On Being the Elite, there was a little. They ended the last episode with them looking up in the clouds, and it says FTR in the clouds.
Ooh.
So that's just like a little like they're coming. So, and then remember on Twitter they were talking about Dash Wilder, or one of the guys from the Revival wrote, "One day you will see the Revival versus the Young Bucks. Mark my word." And here we are. We're gonna get it. I'm excited.
It's 2 years in the making. Arguably two of the best tag teams in the past couple of years.
Like that love tag team wrestling. That's the big part for me at least. Is they love tag team wrestling. Like they're not interested in like singles gold. They want to bring up tag team wrestling, and I'm all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be a hell of a match for sure. When and if, but it's not actually if. It's going to be when at this point.
Yeah,
it's when it's going to happen, and I have a feeling it's going to be very special, and they want to prove, and especially the Revival, or the Revolt rather, they want to prove what they can do.
Oh yeah, we know they can go. They put on some fucking legendary NXT matches. So
yeah. What else we got, Dick?
All right, so now we talked about earlier about Florida slowly reopening up, and the idea of having some live attendance coming up in the next couple months. Well, it appears everywhere else they're still canceling. Ring of Honor just announced earlier this week that all their June shows are off the books. So it appears. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in July, August, September? It's going to be real interesting to see what's going to happen with Ring of Honor in particular. But all the June shows that they've advertised are all canceled. WWE also announced that their tour in Australia and New Zealand that was supposed to be coming up in August is canceled as well.
Yeah, that's far away.
That's far away as well. So, and not to mention, what does this leave with the Saudi shows? Because the Saudi shows are typically around October, early November.
They're getting their show.
One way or another. I mean,
sure.
And I don't know. I mean, I just
their show.
They're going to get their show one way or another. I mean, I don't like that idea at all if they go, but
I mean, that would be the time for WWE, the talent to be like, we're not doing this show, and actually stand up against Vince and whatever they want to do. But if it's going to come down to what Vince wants, they're going to get a show.
Well, at the end of the day, it's Vince McMahon. He's the final say in everything.
Speaking of which, I noticed this wasn't in the news notes that we have, but is WWE for sale?
Hell no.
That was rumored because they touted the idea of being sold or wanting to sell the company. Vince did talk about it briefly in the earnings report, and one of the biggest names that was rumored to do that, if that was going to be the case, was going to be Disney/ABC. In that capacity that they can afford to buy up WWE.
Disney. Damn.
So I don't know. I mean,
I was seeing Fox and ESPN were also interested in buying WWE also.
That'd be weird though. I wonder how they would run it. I'm scared they would run. I don't know. That'd be weird.
At least, okay, at least we have Vince and we know what to expect from Vince,
Mhm.
right? If you leave it up to like a corporation like an ESPN, where they're gonna have like focus groups wanting to talk about how do we get this person, or like how do they even know how to run a wrestling company? That's what I'm worried about. You know,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
historically, for
it'd be
those,
even more.
sorry,
It would,
go ahead.
would be even more corporized than it already is at in WWE right now. I think it would be even more like, I don't know, corporized. Is that even a word?
Or yeah, or I guess it is now, but you could, yeah, it's super watered down. What if they make it like WMAC Masters? You know, it could
We
be.
know how important it
What
is
the
to
hell?
have a safe.
But yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that was just a rumor I saw that I know we didn't have in our notes that I remembered right now.
And historically, when it comes to those who are non-wrestling personalities or have no experience in the wrestling business running a wrestling company, it's typically more often than not ends in failure. You look at prime example being Jim Herd in WCW in the early 90s. He tried to run WCW and it failed miserably.
Yeah, he changed a lot of stuff that didn't need to be changed, like taking the padding out on the floor, so when people do bumps out on the floor, they would get hurt even more. And that's just one example of someone coming in and messing with things that are already working. Um, Anything else we got, Dick?
With going back to it, I mean, just with Wall Street with Vince McMahon, they see Vince McMahon as the only person who can run the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if let's say they happen to do sell, will Wall Street have enough confidence in whoever does own WWE with the same confidence that they would have with Vince McMahon? That's another question that would be answered.
I think Vince is. I mean, for Vince's sake, and his like he can pass that down to his family. I mean, might as well keep this $1 billion thing going in his own family rather than give it to someone else. It could potentially ruin it. His whole legacy, you know, could be washed away, and AEW can come in and pick the bones.
Yeah,
Yeah, you, Byron.
it's never gonna happen. But yeah.
But my opinion of it, though, I don't think it's going to happen either. I don't see WWE selling to a bigger corporation yet. The only way I could see that is if they see that the numbers or the profits from the TV deals are not making enough, and it's getting to the point where, okay, you know what? Let's just cut our losses and just sell the company.
Yeah,
But
and then
not yet. I don't think so.
And then it becomes AEWWE.
That'd be the worst name, but I'd laugh at it every time if they did decide.
Anything else, Dick?
That's pretty much it. I mean, that's pretty much covered the news for this week.
All right. Before we get into the recaps for the week, I want to give a little throwaway to a new segment, a reoccurring segment, a segment you haven't seen in a while, called "On This Day," where we talk about stuff that happened in WWE history that happened on this day. And today, a bouncing baby boy named Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was brought into this world. May 2nd, 1972, The Rock was born and changed the wrestling world forever. So on this day, we're going to celebrate The Rock. What do you guys, what are you guys, some of your favorite Rock moments that have come out of his long feeling but short run in WWE?
The greatest moment for me, I'm sure you guys are gonna replay the sentiment, is his match versus Hogan. To me, that was like my favorite Rock moment for a lot of reasons. One, because Hogan is a Michael Jordan of wrestling. Just kidding. But like we established earlier. But yeah, that shit, like, whoa, that was crazy. And he worked through that match, even though the crowd reaction was not what he expected.
He had to flip it mid-match, right?
Yeah, it was insane. It was so sick. I thought that's one of my favorite Rock moments. I'm gonna save the other ones for you guys, but that's the one that stands out the most and shows his greatness. Dude. It's crazy.
What do you got, Dick?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you could argue as well that could be one of Hogan's greatest moments as well. That was the beginning of the Hogan Renaissance in WWE when he came back a second time. To me, The Rock will always be connected with Stone Cold Steve Austin. It will always be, those two will always be connected. The Attitude Era, two biggest stars. I mean, you can even argue and say two of the biggest stars that WWE ever had at the same time. The WrestleMania matches, 15 was good, but the match at 17 was like, to me, was like the apex of the Attitude Era, and really the apex for both guys' careers, because their careers really weren't the same. And I'm talking about in-ring careers really weren't the same after that. Sure, Rock had his match with Hogan the following year, but Austin's career after that, I mean, it was going on a downward trend, and The Rock just wasn't the same after that either. So I think, to me, Rock Austin WrestleMania 17, to me, will be a special place in my heart, because that was like the apex of the Attitude Era.
Yeah, I mean, those both really good examples. I want to go. I'm gonna go deep cut on this one. When he joined the Nation of Domination, I marked out, because I was one of those kids that liked Rocky Maivia. I liked the tassel, like the crazy hair. I thought this guy was cool, and then I didn't realize no one liked him but me. So when he joined the Nation of Domination, and that really set forth the path of The Rock and what he would eventually become, the heel, the shit talker. I really like that. And then also, if I'm going to pick out a match at Survivor Series, he had a ladder match for the Intercontinental title against Triple H. That match, I feel like, put The Rock really on the map, put him in that upper, like, main event level for sure.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. The Rock's had so many moments. You're like you said, he had a short career that seemed really long. For he was a fucking like flash in a bottle. It was crazy the effect he had, not just on wrestling, but in pop culture. Like, I heard everybody in the school year try to imitate The Rock.
If you smell like so many.
The word jabroni. Come on now.
Oh my God, jabroni. We haven't even talked about jabroni. That's the biggest contribution he's brought into my life, is saying the word jabroni.
Dude, jabroni.
And the funny thing about it is that he didn't coin the term. That term was around for a long time. He made it popular.
Right.
He made it trendy in the English language.
That was just what the boys would say in the back for a word for a jobber, jabroni. I think Sheiky Baby. I think he said he got it from the Sheik, Iron Sheik.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised.
That jabroni, Red Rooster.
Oh yeah. Side note. I know. Andrew's tried it, and I tried it last night. His new tequila is pretty damn good. Good price point, solid taste, pretty strong stuff. I love it.
It's a bottle of tequila the size of a vodka bottle of like, it's a big bottle of tequila. It tastes good. Go check it out. Teremana, I think is what.
Yeah, cool bottle too.
Very cool bottle. Yeah, we still have maybe about a quarter left. We went pretty ham on it the first night we got it. But yeah, definitely go check it out. It's about $30. That's pretty much where how much it is everywhere.
Real quickly though, another thing that I don't think any of us mentioned was the rivalry they had with Mick Foley. I mean, to me, Mick Foley submitted him to being a main event guy. The matches he had at the Royal Rumble, I mean, the chair shots that he gave Foley were brutal. Some would say it was it was too much even. And Foley did everything in his power to make The Rock a main eventer. Just like the following year, he made Triple H a main eventer.
Yeah, Mick Foley definitely sacrificed his own brain for The Rock, because those chair shots were crazy. It's crazy that the Beyond the Mat was just so happened to be filming, that whole day.
Oh, that was
for the mat. When Noelle is crying because her dad is getting beat to shit, handcuffed, just taking straight headshots with a chair. That's crazy. That's crazy that the timing for that was so perfect.
Little did you know she's gonna have a fat ass when she grows up.
Yeah. So, want to give a big happy birthday to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. Whatever movie set he's working on today, or maybe he's not. But yeah. What happened in wrestling this week? Like I said earlier, I feel like this show's kind of just, all these shows, AEW included, is just kind of running in place. Not really a lot happening, just waiting for all this quarantine stuff to be done, or minimized at least. So that's just how I feel about these shows. Raw, I watched a little bit of Raw, and Raw was kind of just, the same show we had the week before that and the week before that. Not really a lot going on. I did see the contract signing with Drew and Seth, which I thought Drew cut a pretty good promo. He said he told Seth he's full of shit, literally. And he said he's gonna, if you're gonna come at me, you better go for my throat because I'm gonna go for yours. I thought those were real powerful words. Again, this Money in the Bank is I didn't even know it was next week, which it is next week. We'll give our predictions for the show next week.
Sunday. Yes.
What did you guys think of Raw
earlier? But yeah, I think yeah, you're right. It was a slow week, but with that Drew McIntyre segment, I thought ooh, there's something in my throat. I hope it's not Corona. But Murphy had a really good fucking you could tell he's up next. His new outfit was kind of cool, pseudo cool, but I'm not sure how I feel about it completely. But you could tell that him and Seth are gonna have something big going forward. And imagine that match when that does happen. Whether Seth becomes the champion and Buddy overtakes him, it's gonna be insane. The future is bright for that feud and for Buddy, obviously. I'm glad they're sticking with him.
Yeah, because I thought, like I was talking about it last week, I thought they were going to start getting rid of, like, toning down the Monday Night Messiah thing, but the Disciple's Still there, Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, it's a good name too, the Disciple. That shit's kind of tight. It's gonna stick, I think.
I think
the Disciple, Buddy Murphy.
Also, it's funny that behind you in the NWO picture, the Disciple is next to Rodman.
Oh shit! How weird.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is. That guy is so bootleg, by the way. I hate that guy.
Bootleg Ultimate Warrior,
dude. So bad.
Another highlight for Raw for me was Zelina Vega's shoes. I was waiting for her.
Right?
I'm glad she didn't. Those things were. I've never seen shoes like that worn in public that wasn't like at a strip club.
They have to be so uncomfortable.
They don't look.
No way she loves that. There's no way.
They were so tall. You know how little she is. She was the same height as Andrade. It was crazy.
That's right.
Other than that, what else happened? All right, anything stick out to you guys?
Like we talked about before the show. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Like we talked about before the show, it's crazy. It's 2 weeks in a row. The MVPs of wrestling are the Mexicans because they chose to work. They chose to work at the hardest time. Work ethic. Arriba, everybody. That's amazing.
Yeah, we had not only pulling double duty, but putting on like a 40-minute match in the beginning with what was a triple 6-man tag match, good guys versus bad guys. But then you have Andrade and Apollo going again for another like 30 minutes. Andrade is stealing the show every week.
He's taking
a lot. Yeah,
I would say this week is more Apollo because at first they highlighted him as the main attraction as far as what are they going to do with him, because he did pick up the win in the 6-man tag. He went backstage and challenged Andrade for a U.S. title match. And then ending toward that match where he looked like he hurt his knee, the ref threw the match out, and now he's out of Money in the Bank.
They did the thing I don't like to do. He didn't even check on him. He just asked Apollo if he's okay, and then Apollo said, "I'm fine," and he threw the match out. Like, make sure, like, I don't know, give me a little bit more validation as to why you're going to throw out this match. This is a championship match, you know? But like you said, it looked like they were going to go a certain way with Apollo, and then you got Swerve, bro, and now he's out of Money in the Bank. So what are we going to get now?
Well, Monday's going to be they're going to have a match to determine who's going to take his spot, like a second chance match. I'm not sure who's going to be in it, but whoever wins, they're going to take Apollo's spot, and they'll be wrestling in Money in the Bank on Sunday.
Corporate Kane.
Pretty much.
Who knows? It could be anyone.
Anything else happened Raw?
I don't really remember.
Did you guys see that triple? I didn't want to say it was a triple threat match, but it was Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and Asuka.
Oh, we got bait and switched.
What was that about? Because they were advertising it as a match.
I wasn't excited for
it. I mean, you're right. I wasn't excited for it, but like I'm watching it.
Those are like 3 of the hardest hitting people that they have on the roster to all fight in one match. I'm excited for it. I don't think the bell ever rang, and they just ended up just throwing it out. Which I mean, I guess it's there to get Nia Jax over, but whatever.
Which it did, and then they played her music after, and I'm like, wait, this even a match to begin with? Because it didn't. It appeared like when they were before that started, they were advertising it as a match, but it just felt weird. It was just
Hey, switch, bro. You gotta swerve the audience, bro.
So
Let's switch over to anything else happen. SmackDown.
oh, sorry about that. My face was just like ready to sneeze.
Ooh, I hate when that happens when it's right there. It's right on the cusp.
It's exactly what it was. And real quickly about Raw, it's starting to affect the ratings. It's been in this long decline. I mean, obviously, but 1.8 million views for Raw. It's just declining little by little. These shows are. I mean, how low can it go at this point?
I think if they dip under 1 million, they're gonna have serious problems.
It's going to be bad if it goes under 1 million. And I don't know. I mean, will it reach that peak? Will it reach that milestone? I hate to use the term milestone for this before the audiences come back. That's something to think about.
I feel like this is their chance to be doing something different, and they're not doing anything different. They're giving us rematches every week. At least AEW is keeping things semi-fresh with a lot more like vignettes and things like that to like build up the characters and let us know who this person is. I heard that they did a great job on Scorpio Sky again this week. They've done little vignettes on like Lance Archer. They have some kind of crowd in the audience. But WWE, I feel like they're just giving us the same stuff every single week.
I mean, at least on Raw, they're making an effort to establish Zelina's faction as a credible threat on that show. So I'll give them credit for that. But it's just like without a live and how do you gauge the audience? How do you gauge who's over and who's not over with no interaction? That's another thing. I mean, it's not just WWE as well. It's also AEW. It's a wrestling problem too.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Anything on SmackDown? Daniel Bryan and Baron Corbin. Who's going to Money in the Bank?
Well, they did have a match.
Daniel Bryan and Baron Corbin are both in the match. They just had a match.
Yeah, and it ended up being a DQ match, or actually it was a DQ. Daniel Bryan won via DQ. After the match, Nakamura and Cesaro jumped Daniel Bryan. And I don't know. It appears that those two are, since their leaders not wrestling at the moment, Sami Zayn, they're looks like they're aligning themselves with Corbin in the meantime, perhaps.
That's so weird. Why does Corbin always need people around him? He's just like what's his face? Why can't I think of it right now? Why can't I think of it right now? Not Jeff. Randy Orton? I don't know. I feel like they don't trust Corbin to do it by himself, to be like a bad guy, so he has to have like henchmen all the time.
I guess
like
it makes
Triple H.
Oh, Triple H.
Triple H for sure needed henchmen all the time. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of is Triple H. But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it because Nakamura and Cesaro are already in a faction with Sami Zayn, and just because Sami Zayn isn't there doesn't mean they have to like find a different leader,
I agree.
Daniel Bryan's new tights are horrendous too. I wasn't a fan of those. I don't know what the hell they're doing with that, but
I've never really liked his gear.
I like the maroon, like Bayside High ones. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And the black, when he went black again, that shit was
black ones were dope. Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. Are they giving the Forgotten Sons like a legit push?
That was wild. I did not expect that result. I was like, what the fuck? Apparently, they won the 9 title match versus the New Day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They did.
That's crazy because they were absolutely shit on every single week. And this might go back to your theory, Dick, is like, how are they gauging who's over and who's not? Because the crowds might come back and shit all over the Forgotten Sons by the time that they think WWE thinks that there's something.
Yeah, hopefully. Who knows?
I mean, I understand why they're on SmackDown because they desperately do need tag teams to be on that show, and it's not just SmackDown, also on Raw as well. So I understand why they're being brought up because I'm getting quite tired of seeing any combination of the New Day and the Usos wrestling at this point.
Yeah, it's really long in the tooth.
They're legitimately the only 2 tag teams on SmackDown, like a real established team that's on SmackDown. So
I mean, you also have Miz and Morrison as well.
more fantastic on commentary. Well, the Miz is, but Morrison not quite the mic guy, but both of them together work as a duo. I like them.
Was it last week that the Miz tried to do a kip up and failed?
Yes, that was bad.
JF doing that.
He should call Orange Cassidy and see if he has kip-up lessons.
Orange Cassidy can do it with his hands in his pocket.
Yeah, it takes forever, but it still works.
And
I'm surprised John Morrison didn't help him better at that.
Yo, that's hardcore man for sure. But yeah.
SmackDown dipping to a 1.9 in the ratings. Not good. Not good because they were at 4 million.
And that's significant because that's the first time that was under 2 million under Fox. You would have never thought this would happen.
Yeah.
Well, the highlight of the whole show was, to me, like I mentioned earlier, the star-making performances and the potential of Mandy and Sonya. Like, damn, they're actually giving it their all with that feud. I think it's going to blow up. Both of them, I could see being champions, especially after this. I don't know how they're going to book and who's going to get a title shot first, or even if they do, but there's mad potential in both of them. Especially Sonya. She surprised me a lot because I know Mandy could be a champ. But Sonya's really been breaking out these last couple of weeks, so I'm excited for that.
She's coming into her own. She's giving good promos, and she can go. I've been Team Sonya since Tough Enough, by the way.
OG.
And I'm actually surprised by that because I think a lot of people's fears were that if Sonya and Mandy were broken up, Sonya was going to be left in the dust because Mandy was in a position to be one of the top female stars. Not only on SmackDown, but also in the company as well.
Well, she's hot.
You look at her. I mean, it's clear. I mean, just look at her. I mean, it's obvious as to why they want to put her in that position.
Oh yeah.
But it's great to see Sonya being allowed to be up in that same tier as her, and they both came up with this rivalry, and it appears that they might have a match at Money in the Bank, and hopefully this will help elevate both of them. I mean, obviously it's going to help Mandy, but this could absolutely help Sonya as well.
Yeah, I think big things are on the way for both of them because I don't know, the women's division just needs help. I think in general, if it's not the tag division, just I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with it, but they lost Finley, so good luck getting the girls.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
NXT was pretty chill. I didn't watch. I think I watched the Keith Lee match was cool.
I heard that match.
Damian Priest can go. Can go for sure.
No, they're a big guy match. Damian Priest is a great athlete. If you've seen his work in Ring of Honor, you would know what he can do in the ring. I think that, like you guys mentioned, I mean, you mock his theme song quite a bit, Byron, but it's true. I think the theme song is not helping him at all.
It's funny. It's hilarious. And then, NXT, like Dick, you were talking about, this was probably the highlight of the week, maybe, the Matt Riddle thing. That shit was
definitely on NXT. It was like the Newlywed segment, the Newlywed game that they played.
Newly Bros.
Newly Bros, yeah. That just goes to show you how outdated that was. But thank God Matt Riddle was able to carry that segment, because if it was anyone else aside from Matt Riddle, that segment would have bombed.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch it. It sounded like it had potential to bomb.
It's so funny though. Like I don't know if again, we can't tell how it would be without the crowd. But I don't know. There's some idiots in the crowd, like myself, who would love that. That shit's funny to me. It was ridiculously bad. And Byron Saxton is horrible, but in this particular segment, it works because it's supposed to be a shit show.
It was so horrible and cheesy that it worked. I mean, he dressed up in a polyester cladded suit. There was a laugh track involved. And you hear like the laugh track going off on all these terrible jokes. It was so corny, so cheesy that it worked.
Yeah. I'm down with that. I like silly. So give me more silly in wrestling.
Exactly, especially nowadays.
Yeah, I need something.
Yeah.
Let's see. Swerve Scott beat El Hijo de Fantasma. That's surprising because I didn't realize that that's King Cuerno from Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
His big break.
It was a great match. I mean, great opening segment to kick off the cruiserweight tournament. If you've seen these guys in Lucha Underground, you know what they can do, especially King Cuerno.
He
Great
was
athlete.
Stars for sure.
Yes, he was. Surf Squad, we've seen what he can do in the ring as well. So it's a great way to open up the segment. And also Drake Maverick and Tony Nese as well. They had an interesting match. I mean, I'm glad they're putting Drake Maverick in a position where you feel sympathy for the guy, even though we already know he's gone from the company. He's not coming back.
Did we get worked?
He's not coming back. They made those announcements already. Like,
did we get worked? I feel
No.
like we got worked. I think, or he cut the promo of his life, posted it, and they're running with it, and he might be around for a little while longer.
Absolutely the latter. Absolutely the latter.
We're getting worked, I think.
I think
I don't think we're getting worked.
I think he was the one that maybe saved his own job, and they're bringing him back.
Right. He's doing good, and like he's a good wrestler. We all know that. Charismatic guy. I think he's sticking around, man. We might have got the good old worky work on us.
You gotta swerve, bro.
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, that was kind of a crazy revelation. I'm like, dude, they're giving this guy a lot of TV time. They wouldn't do that for just some random jabroni. Shout out to The Rock again.
That's on his way out?
Yeah. You think that maybe they're throw him a bone and be like, here, let's maximize your last couple days here. Let's get your shit in, and then hopefully this is a good resume for you or something. Who knows?
Well, I mean, if he's back, great for him. I hope that's the case. But they were using him for the entire duration of the tournament, and then after that, he's no longer employed by WWE. We'll see what happens though. I mean, because right now, I mean, he's giving some of the best work that he's ever done in WWE.
Yeah, they're actually letting him wrestle. He hasn't really wrestled in any matches. Do we know who the masked kidnappers are that keep popping up in the parking lot?
No, but they need to really up their security though.
What the? Haven't grab anyone on camera and not get in trouble, investigated. We need a search party for the guys that have been kidnapped already.
There's not that many people out because the corona. It'd be easy to find these motherfuckers.
You would think, right?
Good time to kidnap people during the coronavirus.
That's funny.
How was AEW? I missed AEW this week too, which is very not Andrew of me.
It's a solid episode. I mean, both NXT and AEW both solid this week. I thought, the two matches for the TNT tournament were this week as well. Cody and Darby had another good match. Probably not as good as their previous matches per se, but solid match nonetheless. Cody tried to do a coffin drop, but Darby was able to escape or to counter it. And as Darby was doing his own coffin drop, he nailed it, executed it, but the way he landed, Cody just used enough momentum to cover his shoulders up to get the pin and moving on to the finals. So I thought the execution of the finish was actually pretty interesting. Like, it was definitely different.
So we're gonna get Archer and Cody. That's gonna be crazy, dude.
Is that next
Archer and I think that might be for Double or Nothing, I want to say.
Is Double or Nothing still going on? Is that a go for sure?
Yes, but not in Vegas. It's going to be at Daly's place.
Okay.
That's crazy.
And then, as you mentioned with Archer, Archer Dustin match, I thought was amazing. Was pretty damn good for two big guys in particular. Very bloody match.
For back-to-back main events for Dustin, the Natural. Also, I wanted to talk about the Manitoba Melee. That was my highlight. Without watching AEW, that was my highlight of the week.
I think that was the best segment of the Inner Circle so far.
Yeah, it was basically you see all these TikTok videos where like someone does like a dance and then they put their hand to the camera and then a new person pops out and they do like a little dance, whatever. That's basically what this was, but they were fighting each other. So it started off with the Inner Circle guys punching each other, like. One guy would punch the camera, and then they go back, and then they like react to it, and then they go back and like punch the camera again. But then it started going a little weird. Chris Jericho's dad made an appearance.
Yep.
Lou Ferrigno with a taser made an appearance. Brad Williams, the I don't want to say the wrong word. The little guy, comedian. He's a little guy. He did Caterpillar.
Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith.
Oh yeah, Jane Silent and Bob were in there. I thought it was a really fun segment, really different, something that AEW I think does a lot better than WWE.
Vicky Guerrero was in there as well. Yeah, there's a lot of cameos in here. By far, like I said, by far the best Inner Circle segment that they've done, or the Inner Bunch, I should say.
Yeah.
That's great.
How do the two shows stack? AW 963,000, NXT 637,000.
693 AEW, 637 NXT. Both shows were down, but AEW does win again this week.
Yeah, they were at that milli mark not too long ago. I feel like.
I know that was like.
I mean, if you look at the trends for all the shows, I mean, all the shows are down, and the lack of a crowd is definitely hurting them.
I wonder if it's like that for other shows. I mean, actually, no, I don't think it is, because the Michael Jordan Last Dance, that's getting like record people watching, like tens of millions of people watching that. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, also at the same time to consider, basketball is obviously going to be more well known than professional wrestling. There's going to be a lot more basketball fans than pro wrestling fans.
Yeah,
but yeah, these numbers are they're definitely all on the down. It doesn't matter if you're AEW or WWE. The fact that we're going through a pandemic right now, there's no live attendance, and that's definitely hurting the shows. I mean, AEW is trying to have, they're having people in the audience. I give them credit for doing that, and it's helping. It's helping the show, but it's just not helping the numbers at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we stay in place for a little while longer. That way we can make sure that we're all, safe before we start putting ourselves around a lot of different people. You guys got anything else you guys want to add to the show?
Last bit of not news, but side note, Streets of Rage 4. I'm excited for that. So I don't know when it's out, but
is that coming out on PlayStation?
I think it's all cross-platform.
Ooh, I'm down to buy that.
Got to check it out then.
I've actually been playing a lot of Call of Duty, which is cross-platform. PlayStation. You should get on it, Dick. It's free.
It is. It's hard as fuck though.
Oh shit! All right, I'll check it out then.
We play all the time. Add me, bro. Edward 40 ounce hands on Xbox. But that's gonna do it for our show this week, guys. Thank you so much for joining us, downloading, subscribing, not watching the live stream this week, but we will be doing it next week. What else? What else do I got to plug? I think that's it.
Money in the Bank watch along, maybe.
Oh yeah, Money in the Bank watch along. We're gonna try to get a stream for Twitch. If not Twitch, we'll stick to our YouTube channel. But we'll definitely be doing the watch along for Money in the Bank next Sunday. So definitely come join us, hang out, talk to us. But yeah, we'll be back next week with a brand new episode of the Put Me Over podcast. But until then, wash your hands and never forget, we are the new World Order Professional Podcasting, and we will see you next week. $102.
Perfect.
That's good.
Right.
Yeah, that was really good.
Good show, I felt like.
Yeah, it was perfect. I'm gonna stop recording now. I gotta go. There's something burning in my oven, I think.
Yeah, I gotta take a piss too, but less like Wrestling Observer type, more just us talking, hanging out, which I really like.
Perfect.